So good. I promised you that I was going to be bringing tons of guests and ones that I want to learn from. And we are here with Ryder, who is absolutely one of those. I also want to say, hey, Benson, how's it going?
It's going awesome. It's going so cool. Just chilling in Denver. Can't wait to see Ryder in action. It's going to be a blast.
I'm excited.
Today's so good. Ryder, tell us, how has your business been? What's been going on? What's new?
Yeah, so business here in Nashville has been great. So for those of you who don't know, I exclusively work in the Middle Tennessee market. I'm an agent out here, investor, and I love to wholesale my deals out. So if I could wholesale deals out all day, it's all I'm going to do. And I've been in this market for about 2 years now. So pretty much this year has been really consistent overall between 3 to 5 deals a month. Assignments averaging probably like 5 to 7. That's with the 50/50 JV. So I guess without that, they're averaging $10,000 to $15,000.
That's awesome.
Yeah, yeah.
Amazing.
No, I love it out here. So for those of you who aren't in the market, I suggest you check it out and work with me or Corian.
Oh, guys, Ryder is like king of the Nashville market. The fact that he is here means like pour some questions in the chat because he knows this market inside and out. You've been working it for 2 years now?
Yep, 2 years. So yeah, that first year we're talking about backstage. It was just pretty much a year full of discovery and networking and trying to get my name out there and speaking with agents. And this year has really kind of I've grown on those connections and I'm proving myself that I can get a deal from point A to point B.
That's amazing. Guys, in the chat, I'm curious, where are you at in your wholesale journey? Are you still working on that first one from start to finish? If you are, drop a one in the chat. If you're still working on the first one, if you've done 4 or more deals, drop me a 2, just so I understand where everybody is coming from. Awesome. While they're doing that, just for the newbies, because I've already seen a few ones, Ryder, will you tell me, how do you define wholesaling?
So the way I would define it essentially is providing, I mean, I guess like wholesaling is, assigning or selling your contract out to an end buyer, but it's more than that. It's really about finding potential and properties and feeding as many people as you can, your end buyers, the agents, the sellers, and really capitalizing on potential.
I love that definition.
Yeah.
I could put that on a t-shirt, feeding as many people as possible.
Yes.
Because really that's kind of the most fun I've ever found in wholesaling is yeah, like helping that problem solving and then seeing people kind of light up when you've solved it for them.
Yeah. I mean, there's so many people involved who get to eat. I work with an inspector on pretty much every single deal that I have. Title companies, real estate agents, sellers, buyers, myself, my JV partner, um, and lenders potentially. So it's really, or construction workers, subcontractors. I mean, deals that I can help provide my end buyers really feeds a whole host of people. Some seen, some not seen.
You've been doing flips as well, haven't you?
I haven't done like too many personally.
Mm.
Um, so like a little bit about my background. I've only done a couple flips, but I mean, I've been a real estate agent for the past like 7 years now. Most of that was in Southern California. And in SoCal, I really focus on like 50/50 residential, multifamily type deals. Um, and so when I got out here, I kind of floundered because I knew absolutely nobody. I seriously, I knew like zero people out here. I had to start a business from ground zero, build all my connections, and that's when I stumbled upon Astro Flipping and Jamil and the rest of the community, and kind of showed me that there's another opportunity doing something else that I like more. So,
Guys, just a
Very cool.
reminder that like real estate you can do anywhere. And that's what's so cool about your story, Ryder, is that you've kind of mastered it in 2 different markets in 2 different ways. And to see you flourish, if you will, in the Nashville market is really awesome to watch. And I'm glad you're here as another unicorn agent. I just dropped this in the chat. If anybody's never heard that before, it really just means that you understand both worlds. You are also a listing agent, but you know how to wholesale properties, and it gives you a lot of options as to how to help people and sellers in unique situations.
Oh yeah, 100%. I mean, right now I'm not listing a lot of properties, but I definitely do work as a buyer's agent, and I represent my company pretty often. So that's what I do like. And of course, I do have some retail investors from SoCal that are looking here in Nashville, which is always fun to work with. So I kind of get the best of both worlds. I can work fine with buyers, except with buyers. I mean, I just listed a portfolio of properties out in Memphis. I can do deals like that as well. So yeah,
saw
a whole host.
Ryder, are there any drawbacks to being licensed and doing wholesaling?
I don't think there are a lot of drawbacks. If I had to choose one drawback to being licensed and trying to wholesale, it would probably be if you are on a listing appointment and you are working with the seller and you're trying to get them top dollar, it would be difficult to wholesale their deal knowing you could get them an extra $10,000, $50,000, $20,000. Which is why I don't do a lot of direct to seller stuff myself. Of course, there are workarounds doing that, and I've done it in the past. And mostly, what I do is I just give the sellers all the options on a piece of paper, and I say, "This is what happens if you sell to me as a buyer. This is what happens if you list it and sell to an investor. This is what happens if you sell to another investor. Here's your net." And I give them 4 options of what that would look like, and I let them choose based on those options, the convenience. And then we pretty much go from there.
Yeah. And as long as you disclose,
that's the most important part. Yeah.
Then you're covering your bases, and then it's up to them to make the choice.
Yep. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So it's definitely, as an agent, it's another tool in your belt.
It allows them to prioritize what's most important to them, which I think is such a unique opportunity, because a lot of agents only know how to go like push a listing, and a listing can take some work to get ready for those things and some money to get the photos done and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. It's especially when you're working with some unreasonable sellers about price. I just recently sat on a listing for about a year. I was banging my head against the wall. I was like, reduce the price. Come on. Work with me here. Yeah. So,
oh man.
You do what you can.
Yeah, you really do. And I'm excited to share how you approach agents as a wholesaler and an agent. And I'm excited that you utilize Privy because you have access to the MLS and you utilize that as well. But then you bring in Privy when you don't want to look at the spreadsheet. That's something we were talking about backstage.
Yeah, it hurts my eyes after a while. Scrolling. I can't see what I'm looking at anymore. So yeah, Privy is nice. I love the ease. It's user friendly. It's nice to look at. So
completely agree. And Benson, you're gonna drive it today in Tennessee. Yes. Let's find some agents for Ryder to call. I'm ready to get contact information, and I'm paying attention to the chat, guys, because Ryder is here for an hour. So if you've got questions for him,
I'm here for you guys. No.
Very cool. Well, just for those of you who haven't seen Privy before, just kind of like quick little rundown on what it is we're looking at here. So this is it's a software platform that you can use to find deals, to get on-market leads, off-market leads, find investor-friendly agents. But I think most importantly, tracking investment activity. And so when you're looking for deals, you want to make sure that you're thinking several steps ahead and thinking, okay, if I find a lead, a deal in a certain area, are there going to be buyers there who are going to be interested in taking that thing off my hands for a fee? Is the data that I'm going to need to be able to analyze that property and establish an after repair value, are those renovated homes in that neighborhood going to be present? And if those 2 things aren't true, then you don't look for deals there. And so the best way to establish the markets that you should be targeting is by leveraging our investor activity. And this is proprietary to our platform. The MLS doesn't do this. Other platforms that are out there that or like marketing platforms that you probably are aware of don't do this as well. And this, for me, I think is one of the more important things, is really understanding what a deal is and then understanding where you should be looking. So when you're looking at the coverage map here, you want to be identifying opportunities where there's large circles with high numbers in them. So you want to avoid areas that just don't have the blue, and you want to go to areas that have a lot of blue, right? So, you know, a bunch of different markets here that you can see that have that: Dallas, Fort Worth, Oklahoma City, Kansas City, St. Louis. Nashville actually happens to be one of those markets that has a significant amount of investor activity, and more than any other city in Tennessee. But you know, this is down here. This is Memphis. Chattanooga has some activity too, in Knoxville, but Nashville, you see here, has significantly more. So if I was going to drill down on Nashville and I was trying to figure out, okay, well, I know in general Nashville, but this is a very location specific business. So it isn't just, okay, let's go to Nashville and just pick an area. It's okay, which part of Nashville? Are we on the north side, the south side? Which city? Are we within, you know, like a certain area, or is it someplace else? And based off what I'm looking at right here, there's a couple areas that jump out. So this area right in here looks like it's got some significant investor activity. So I would drill down even further. Did you have a comment, Ryder?
Oh, I was going to say that particular area is great. I just sold over there a couple weeks ago.
There's quite a bit of activity here, and this, you guys, is what we're looking for. We want to see a lot of transactions that have happened, and immediately a lot of people start to say, like, well, if there's a lot of competition here, isn't it going to make it harder for me to find a deal? But guess what? Without competition, you have no comps. So competition does not mean comps. Comps is, you know, comparables, but they're almost one and the same when you're thinking about analyzing properties. So this is where you want to be looking for deals, or at least one of the areas. And then you can kind of break down and look at the individual transactions to see, like, well, what is a deal in this part of Nashville? So this is a house that was recently fixed and flipped. This is our comparative market analysis. Privy's building one of these for every property in the US. It automatically pulls comps for you. So you don't have to be a comping expert. You don't have to spend all the time to do it. It's really more of an art than it is a science. And we give you the ability to customize it by changing the settings. And then below that, we show you the before and after on the deals themselves, so you can see the transformation. So this one was an on-market deal that they bought, and it was purchased in June. This is what it looked like before they flipped it. Over here on the right is the after product. So you can see what kind of construction they did, what kind of materials they use. You get design ideas. And so this is really just kind of educational to understand the transaction itself. And then you can see the numbers. So they bought this thing for $310,000. They fixed it up and then sold it for $528,000. So they got it at 59% of the ARV from the MLS. And so they didn't have to go direct to seller and go through that whole sales process. And, you know, the sales timeline for direct to seller can be weeks, months, even depending upon how good of a salesperson you are. But with this house right here, they found it on the MLS, wrote an offer, got it under contract, and here's the result. And then finally, you can see who was the person or company that was involved in this transaction. So the buyers, looks like it was two buyers: True Investments Inc. and First Chance Investments LLC. You know those guys, Ryder?
Yeah. I one day too late. I almost wholesaled that or signed that one out. One day too late, and then
you wrote an offer on this one?
I had it under contract. I didn't know those guys yet. I met them like 2 days after I canceled.
Oh my God. So what was your estimated ARV on this?
I think it was like 540, 530, somewhere in there. And they bought that from a wholesaler as well.
Okay, so you canceled the contract and then somebody else picked it up and wholesaled it to them.
Yep. And guys, like, it's okay to cancel contracts. That's actually like the third deal I worked with that particular listing agent. And there's no hard feelings about it. So I just remember there's an issue with this one because there was an easement on the driveway. And a lot of my buyers I knew at that time, no way. No way. I don't want to mess with an easement. So, but yeah, I think they picked that one up for 325. So it says
That's
310 right there, but they bought it for 325.
Oh, so there was
There
the
was an
assignment
assignment
fee on
fee.
top of it would have
Yep.
been about 15 grand.
Yep.
Got it.
To everybody that's here, I just want to point out that if you want to get access to a market quickly and start to understand the players in the game, you just saw it happen on Privy. Like I told you, Ryder's the king in Nashville, and he also knew the buyers of this particular property. We were able to see the ARV they purchased at. Like this kind of market research it blows my mind. It makes me feel nerdy and I love it. And if you don't have this, you can get 30% off if you use one of my favorite last names. It's Damji. And you'll get 30% off the annual plan or 20% off the first month if you go that route. You probably want this.
Oh yeah.
Again.
So you guys are you're learned all this stuff that Ryder figured out by going through the process. Now you actually have that crystal ball to be able to go back and look at everything that happened. And so he's saying that this was maybe a deal that got away. But he had a good reason to get out of it because his buyers didn't like the easement situation. But now he knows his buyer box, right? So next time he comes across a property that has easement issues, he's not going to get it under contract because he knows his buyers don't want it.
Yep.
So he'll save his time and he won't have to cancel contracts.
And I've connected with that buyer, and we communicate. And I send them my deals right now, so still buying.
And now you have a buyer that buys with easements. You can be certain of that.
That was the biggest hand up on that.
Oh yeah.
Oh, cool. Matthew Klein wants to know, how do you approach canceling a contract? Can you run us through like the example of that conversation?
Okay, so I'll run you through 1346 Greenland, one we just looked at. So, when I first put it under contract, I was not aware that there wasn't a recorded easement for the driveway. So essentially, 1346 Greenland, the subject property, had the right to use the neighboring driveway. But it wasn't recorded with title. It was a handshake agreement between the two neighbors. And I wasn't aware of that at first. And so, I had a lot of kind of pushback about that driveway and how it would play and how an end buyer would view that. And so when it came to canceling the contract, it was as easy as saying, hey, originally when we put this under contract, I wasn't aware of this material fact. And because of that, these numbers don't work for me anymore. And it's just difficult to kind of get to where I need to be because of that. And that agent was just saying, okay, cool, I understand. Here's the release. You can take your earnest money back. I appreciate you getting your earnest money and you doing your inspections, you going through the process of actually working the deal and abiding by the contract. I think that's the big thing here is when you put something under contract, just abide by it, because the contract now dictates what you do if you're going to wholesale it or keep it or whatever. It's very neutral. It's very black and white as to what needs to be done, when it needs to be done.
Right. And you had a legitimate reason too. And everything's legitimate as long as it's done within the right time frame. But your reason was way better than, oh, I just locked it up too high because I didn't know my numbers.
Yep. And I had it at that 310 price.
Right. So that's what you want to shoot for. So when you're canceling contracts, the main reasons you're going to be doing it is inspection issues, due diligence issues, not because you messed up the price. And so like in Colorado, even if we got it up too high, when we go to cancel the contract, we say because of inspection issues. And that's going to make it easier. And you're not going to get as much pushback from the listing agent.
I don't think new wholesalers realize that, like in a traditional buy scenario, and you said, Ryder, you help a lot of buyers, they really can cancel in their inspection period if they're just like, the stairway is too thin or something that's just strange. And that's what the inspection period does to protect a regular buyer and us as a wholesaler.
Yep. Absolutely. There are a number of ways. There are a number of exit strategies if you need to back out of it.
I would recommend to being very educated on the local market. I don't know, but traditions with what's kind of like standard there. I found out the hard way in Missouri that you can't cancel a contract and get your earnest money back in the inspection period if you don't have an actual inspection. You have to provide the inspection with the cancellation for it to be legitimate. And so we actually were scrambling at the last second to go get an inspection done so that we can get our $1,000 back. So we ended up netting like $750 because we didn't know that we needed to have that inspection. So talk to an agent, talk to somebody who's familiar with your market so that you're prepared in case you have to get out of a contract.
Yeah, yeah. Like in Tennessee, it specifically states that you cannot back out of a contract based on purely cosmetic, for cosmetic reasons. So if you're trying to wholesale a property out and locks it up way too high, you can't back out because, oh, do you know what? The carpet's green. I really don't like that. Or the baseboards are a little funny. So cosmetic stuff like that, it's not going to.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, good info there.
While Benson is going shopping to see if we can find something ugly for you to call the agent on, I saw a question came through from, it looks like YouTube. I understand you should confer with your buyers, but what square foot range is most beneficial due to repair costs and when you're sourcing deals? So he knows, he's like, I know I need to go call buyers to really get this, but is there a square foot range that your buyers are mostly sticking to?
If you have Privy, I think it should be pretty easy to find out where most investors are buying at. You'll probably find that a lot of them aren't going to be buying properties, that are really large, like 2,500 plus square feet. That may be considered 2,500 plus square feet in this area is going to be a little bit bigger for property. And yeah. So like in this particular area, it's going to be somewhere between 800 to 1,700.
Yeah, you basically nailed it. And that the data will tell you, right? This one is an anomaly. Look how big it is. It sold for 807, but everything else in this area is right around here, 11 to 1,700 square feet.
Is that Kimberly? Oh, that finally sold. I wholesaled that one.
Did you?
Nice.
Yeah.
This is fun.
Let's look at this one. So what's the story on this? So they flipped this. It closed just a week or so ago.
Yeah. So this one actually was off market. They may have listed it the day I put it under contract. And yeah, I sourced this one using AstroBlaster, doing agent outreach. So it's off market. And they just said, hey, I have this great little townhome. Like, cool. They want like 200 for it. And I was like, oh, it's a little bit high. And it was like purely cosmetic updates. The inside of it looked pretty good. I was like, all right, there's like nothing wrong with the property. So yeah, I put under contract at like 199. I did my inspections. I had a buyer come in at 199. And then I got a price reduction to make my sign, which was like, I think like 10K.
Nice.
Yeah. So they bought it at 199 and had it at 1.
What deals were you not involved in that we're looking at? I mean, damn, Ryder.
None of them.
Well, this is awesome, you guys. So look, he's very in tune with this market. You can see like just in this neighborhood where we're looking, we didn't plan any of that. So it just happens to be that he had 2 of those properties under contract and, he's active. So let's see if we can find Ryder something to go and look at. So the next step here, now that we've done a little bit of local market research, we're figuring out who the investor friendly agents are, like Jeff Brown, Brian Wang, Jacob Jones. Like those, the agents that represent flippers are investor friendly because they needed to earn the business of a fix and flipper. And then we saw who some of those buyers were too, right? So now we're going to go and we're going to click to find similar active deals. So with one button, Privy's going to go in and it's going to pull comps on houses that are in this area. And it's going to show us houses that we could potentially make some money on based off of the sales price of the house compared to the price of the comps. So what percentage of ARV do you think we should be at in this neighborhood, Ryder, for the numbers to work?
For In Nashville, probably like 60% of ERV, but if you're looking, 75% is going to be okay. Everyone's listed too high for the most part, anyways.
Okay, well, let's go to 65,
Yeah.
knowing that we may ask for a price reduction and it's a little bit lower. And so this is a ceiling, you guys. So if there's something that's at 60% or 50%, this net will catch it, but it won't catch something that's at 66% because we're cutting it off right here. How about price range? Where do you think we should limit it at?
Probably feels like 500.
Okay, so
Probably a
500.
little bit high, but
So you guys build the buy box well, you can build your own buy box in here, or you can build the buy box of your buyers based off of your conversations with them in here, and then get automated alerts. And all you have to do is click save search, give the search a name, and you can get alerts up to every hour, depending upon how often you want to be updated. So there's some automation there. So like if you're at work or you're with a family or you're doing all your other responsibilities of life, you don't have to be in Privy all day. So let's go ahead and run this. And this is going to adjust the filter down. And now we're going to come across some properties where the numbers might make sense. So here's a house, 800 Crockett Street. Looks like it's maybe a corner lot. Interesting setup there. It's a 3-1, 299,000. And then if we scroll down here in the property remarks, incredible investor special opportunity, right? Some of those keywords that people like to go off of.
Mm.
And then looking at the comps here, it looks like a couple of the comps are on the other side of this major road. So we're going to want to adjust that comp zone. So we're going to use the drawing tool here, upper right-hand corner. And we're just going to draw a new zone here and we're going to cut it off. And then that will make sure we're looking at homes that are the most relevant.
Not crossing any major roads.
No, yeah, that's pretty important.
And then we look at the comps. There is a comp that was a flip that is on the market. It hasn't sold yet. It's been on the market for 127 days. So this 700 is unreasonable. But there's some other comps here that sold recently that are, looks like they fit the year built criteria that Jamil likes to use. And they range from, 476 up to this pending one of 525, which is a little bit older. But we don't have great interior pictures. They were scared to show us the inside.
I don't know why they
Yeah.
It just helps to put photos in.
Yeah. So Corianne, you probably see the agent here.
Yes, I'm going for it right now, actually.
Stephen Russell with Reliant Realty ERA Powered.
Oh, yeah. He does a lot.
That is a lot.
No, he does a lot.
Oh, he does?
He's a, Stephen?
Might already be in your phone then.
Yeah, I think he is.
Wonderful.
Cool. Well, that means you might be in his phone too.
Oh, I haven't called him in a little while. He doesn't have my new number.
You have it? Can you give him a call off that, or do you want me to keep looking?
I'll give him a call. It's like,
for some reason it's not coming to me.
we pull it up.
I wasn't as quick on the draw as I promised to be, everybody. I apologize. But I did actually see a great question. We want to take it back and make sure that everybody understands the vocab we're using. It is, can you explain what an easement is?
Yeah, so an easement is just pretty much one person giving another person the rights to use space. A lot of times they'll have easements with the city, and a property will, the owner will give the right to the city to walk on their lands to fix the lights or electricity or water or whatever. And sometimes those easements exist between neighbors, like that one on Greenwood, and it's just, hey, you can use my driveway to access. It's just a right to use someone else's property.
Got it.
Okay, I'll give Steven a call.
Cool.
You guys hear that okay?
Not yet.
Yeah, get closer.
No, an easement actually transfers with property, Pat. So if an easement is, let's say, to get to an electrical line for your neighbor, that's going to go with the property and be transferred over by title.
And if it's not recorded, it's just up to each and every new owner.
Yeah. Yeah.
And kinda
If
go
it's
through
a
it.
handshake, that's quite different.
All right, so that Steven did not answer.
Okay.
Okay.
We can keep looking.
Did you double dial, triple dial? Do you do any of those strategies?
Every once in a while, I'll give him a double dial.
Let's see.
Let's see.
Wholesale 101.
I'm starting a poll for how many times people double dial and whether it works.
I think he's calling me at the same time. I'll try it one more time because it looks like he called me.
Okay, cool.
But can you guys hear the ringing?
We can't hear the ringing, but we could almost hear the voicemail.
Okay.
Michael, yes, if I'm skip tracing an LLC, I'm going to use opencorporates.com to find out who's the owner of that LLC. And then I'm going to take that owner over to True People Search, and it's all free.
Hi, Steve. Steven? Hey, Steven, this is Ryder with Haven Real Estate. How are you? Hello? Oh, no, that was weird.
Phone tag. But when he calls you later this afternoon and it's all straightened out and you get to laugh about it, then you have more rapport to purchase this property.
Exactly. So we'll see what he's up to. All right, on to the next.
Cool. Let's see what else we got here. Here's a house. It's on Carter, 425. Little bungalow style house. Good size. I don't know, the lot looks bigger than it really is. It's only 7,000 square feet, but it looks, deep, and there's an open lot to the left. Maybe another easement situation. Oh, it's got its own driveway there. Let's check the comps out on this one. So 425. Let's adjust the settings a little bit here so we can bring in some more. We only have one true comp based off of our comping criteria to start. So I'm going to make it a little bit larger there. And
So changing that delta of square feet is just saying, hey, you can search within a range that is actually 20% bigger, right?
Yeah, it was 15 by default, so I increased it by 5% on both the low end and the high end. But this is a pretty small house. I'm guessing everything in this neighborhood's larger. So I'm going to click this all button.
Yeah, I think for this one, they're trying to sell it as a tear down.
Oh, are they? Yeah.
Yeah.
Is this zoned for multifamily or something like that?
It looks like it's zoned R6. Let's see. Zoned R6. That means, yeah, I mean, you could build two on there. It's R6, sits on a 7,000 square foot lot. So definitely has the potential to put two tall and skinnies on there.
Yeah, when you look at the other sales in the area too, like they are scraping properties here. Like this one went for 1.14 million and is just a barely larger lot.
242.
So
Do you have
yeah,
buyers that scrape?
yeah, I have a few, but I know that a lot of developers or a lot of people tearing down and building new kind of pulled back just because construction costs gone up. So I know a lot of developers want to be between like 15 to 20% of ARV. So if you can get like 750 for a property, say 20%, 150 times two. Yeah, so a buyer's probably gonna want to be close to 300 for that lot.
Okay. Well, let's see if you can get it to 300.
All right, I'll give him a call. Let's go, Kate Nelson. All right, let's see.
So you just multiplied 1.14 by 20%, or what do you?
Yeah, so tops I want to be at 20% of ARV. So if you can get like 720 for one new build, 20% of that.
Well, this one went for 1.14.
Is
This one for 905. So
I wonder what is it a HPR or it's gonna be is it a single build? Can you click on it?
mhm.
Let's see what they did. Looks like it was a single build. Was it?
Yeah, just a nice size house, single family.
Oh, also that street, Riverside, really good street to be on. It's a
Okay.
busy street.
And I learned.
It is a busy street, but for some reason, that particular street, Riverside, is like the street to be on. Like that whole street is just lined with new builds.
Okay.
Would you take a percentage off of that ARV given that our subject isn't on that road?
I don't know if I'd really even use it as a comp,
Oh,
to be
okay.
honest. Yeah, yeah. For some reason, it's just that street holds so much more weight and value.
We
This
have one
one's
of
on
those in
Beachmont.
Denver too on Monaco Street. Like it's completely different than everything else around it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is on Beachmont. It's not on there. That went for 905.
Yeah, like last year I sold the teardown. I think it was like third list. Um, so let's see. I'll just give her a call to see if where they're at on price.
Yeah, because we know it's not 425.
Yeah. Well, it looks like I've been trying to reach out to her anyways. They haven't gotten back to me. Come on, Kate. Hi, Kate. Hey, Kate. This is Ryder with Haven Real Estate. How are you? I am doing fantastic. Thank you. I was giving you a call about your listing over on Carter in Nashville. Yeah, so I'm actually interested in picking up another deal for myself. And this one just kind of caught my eye. So I was kind of looking just kind of get some more information as to where the sellers are at on it right now. Yeah, so go on. Yeah, so yeah, I mean, it looks like you guys have this set for a tear down opportunity. Is the house itself just like a complete? Is it just in terrible condition? What's the house look like? Mm-hmm. Okay.
We'll get the story afterwards, guys.
Got it. Got it. Okay. So, and that was my next question is what were they looking for in terms of occupancy? So it looks like they want 2 months post occupancy, correct? Mhm. Oh, so, okay. So he said he's moving across the country once it's all over? Got it. Okay. And, okay. Got it. Got it. Okay. And as far as price on this one, are they married to the price right now, or is there any room for negotiation on that? Got it. Okay. Okay. And I know it's only been listed for about 6 days. Do you guys have any offers in right now? Okay. All right. So it looks like this is zone R. It is a small house, zone R6. Um, okay. I kind of know where my numbers need to be at for a tear down right now. Would it be a waste of my time at all if I came in under 400? Got it. Got it. So under 400 is okay. Yeah, because probably for this one, the like tops I could potentially pay for this is between like 330, 350. Uh-huh. Okay. And would there be any issue if you represented my company on this one?
Ooh, we might be going from a verbal to a written.
Mhm. Okay. Yeah, no, I completely understand. I mean, I'm more than happy to come in unrepresented. It's just that if I put my if I write an offer with my brokerage information on there, I have to ensure they get paid out of commission. So really, like if you can take double the commission, or we could waive some of that commission back to the seller, that might make it a little bit easier on their end. So, but okay, perfect. So what I'll do then is, if it makes sense, I can go ahead and just put an offer together on an offer sheet and send that your way. Would that be okay? Okay. All right, perfect. I'll go ahead and I'll get that over. My name is Ryder. Yep. All right, you're welcome. I'll talk to you in a little bit, Kate. All right, thanks. Bye.
He got to written offer without his name, without her knowing his name. Ryder, we could not hear the audio for the agent, so catch us
Oh,
up on
really?
the story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was, for some reason, the past two agents I called, like Steven and this girl, they're usually it's really loud on my computer,
Hmm.
decently loud, but for some reason, these past two, it's just coming in really dull. Because even I'm having a hard time hearing.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, also check your Zoom and make sure it's not on noise canceling because it might be getting rid of like the sound on the side. Um,
How do I check that?
I think you go to audio
Audio
settings.
settings.
So it's the little arrow. Everybody, I'm going to teach you Zoom today. Mute little arrow up, audio settings.
Oh, there it is. There it is.
Yeah, just check that. Because I know everybody wanted to hear her responses because, oh my goodness, it sounds like she's going to write you up an offer.
Yeah. I can't change it for some reason. It does not pop up my end to change that. I'll just call up my phone. Maybe that'll make a difference. So yeah, so essentially they're listed at, what are they listed at? They're 425. I asked them if it'd be a waste of my time to come in under 400. She said, no, probably not. I let her know my offer price between 330, 350, which right there is almost 100 to $75,000 under list price. Asked her to represent me. She said, no, I can't do that, but I can definitely help you write up the paperwork. I said, great, I can waive the commission back to the seller. You can take twice the commission. And she said, okay. The big hangup for this one is that the sellers do want a 2 month post occupancy. And that's going to be tough to work with.
That is going to be tough. Would you write it up with that, or would you try to counter on that post-closing?
No, I would counter that out for sure. You know, tops a month with like a $10,000 holdback, maybe a little bit more.
10,000. So are you okay? 10,000 a month is what your numbers are at. That's always interesting because a buyer needs to be protected. If that tenant or now tenant, old seller decides, I don't really want to leave, they need to have some kind of leverage. And that's the point of a holdback staying at title.
Yeah. They want their extra $10,000.
Mm-hmm.
I want 10,000. That's the goal.
Ryder, why would an agent say that they can't represent you? What are like the top reasons? Is they just feel uncomfortable with it, or is it because of their relationship with their brokerage? What are some of the top reasons?
Yeah, so definitely relationship with the brokerage. A lot of them fall back onto my brokerage doesn't allow it. And then two, I think they're nervous to represent two sides. They're afraid of the liability that may come with that. Because at the end of the day, if they technically represent both buyer and seller, they have to do what's right for buyer and seller. And it can get tough to do your fiduciary duty to opposing sides. So at that point, it's just much easier to facilitate the transaction and just push paper. You know, just say, hey, seller, this is where buyer's at. What do you think? What's your opinion? Unfortunately, I can't give you my opinion.
Right.
Back and forth.
In Colorado, you cannot represent both sides, but you can serve as like a transaction coordinator.
Yep.
Is that allowed in Tennessee, where basically you have the seller sign that you're no longer in fiduciary responsibility to them, and now it's your job to make sure the paperwork is good?
Yep. So that they would just fall into the role of being a facilitator.
Yeah. Okay. That makes
sense. But they could earn both commissions in that middle section. In Colorado, you can.
Yeah, there's a section in the listing agreement that talks about the variable commission. So the listing agent would have to shake that out with the seller, whoever they feel.
Yeah, it's typically agreed upon when they list the property. They've already decided what happens if the agent finds a buyer who's unrepresented, then they can move into that transaction coordinator role and then get both commissions. But for you, it's essentially the same thing. You just want her to help you get a good offer in that meets your terms. And she's more likely to want to do that for you if she can get both commissions. Yeah.
Exactly. How often do you represent yourself, if ever?
Probably like 60% of the deals that I do.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it definitely helps when it comes to negotiations. So I'm able to chip in some of my commission, or I get my commission and an assignment fee. Actually, I don't get that. I get the commission. My company gets an assignment.
Absolutely. Everybody I talk to that straddles that line, one of the ways they protect themselves in getting paid on both sides is to have an LLC for both sides, basically.
Yep. Because if I do, I represent my company. I'm not representing myself. And if you have an LLC, it's a whole other entity. It's like a separate person.
We have a question from YouTube that says, will Ryder go ahead and write up the contract and take commission on the buyer side? What's your plan on this one?
For this one, no. I have like an outlined offer sheet that mimics all the terms of the actual TAR form. And I'll fill it out. It takes me like maybe 2 minutes, not even to fill it out. I'll send it over to the listing agent. I say, here are my terms. And sometimes they'll just counter that. It's whatever they want. Or sometimes they'll actually put it onto an offer and get a square away up.
So bullet point wise, what would your price and terms look like on this form you're going to send over?
So I have my buyer entity, and then price, I'll just say 330. Was it no appraisal contingency, no loan contingency, financing is going to be cash, hard money, or private money. What else? $1,000 EMD due within 3 to 5 days. Close of escrow to occur probably 30 days or sooner, just because they want so much time for post occupancy. And I would say 30-day post occupancy with a $10,000 holdback fee in the event. Oh, well, that's pretty much it. And then whatever special stipulations I have, one or more members of Sutton Properties LLC can conduct their own physical inspections of the property to satisfy all inspection requirements. that I'm a licensed, one or more members of Sutton Properties LLC is a licensed real estate agent in the state of Tennessee. And then I intend to make a profit purchase.
An assignment clause?
I do the Sutton Properties LLC and or designated entities.
Okay.
And it's one of those things, you're not going to get a lot of pushback on it. You just work it with confidence. So
will you restate that more clearly for everybody? What does that clause look like?
So I don't say in anywhere that I have the right to assign the property out. I always have my LLC name and or designated entities in the buyer's section.
Got it.
And if you work it with confidence, you're probably not going to get a lot of pushback.
And guys, just a reminder that this replay is actually going to be on Jamil's YouTube. So you can come back to this and take the furious notes that I would hope you would want, because Ryder is so good at this game. But I don't really know, because you're not telling us in the chat. So if this is bringing you any value, if we're not wasting our time, give us some emojis, please. Let us know, because Ryder just dropped gems. Woo.
Yes, sir.
I had somebody else ask on here, and I'm going to scroll back and try to find it while the gems are dropping. And it was, did she ever specify why this is a teardown?
Oh, so when you're looking at property, it's all about looking at potential. And this one is in an area with lots of new construction going up. It's also zoned R6, sitting on a 7,000 square foot lot. So highest and best use for this particular property be to tear it down to build to. So it's all about kind of knowing the area, knowing what's going on, and being familiar with zoning, and just kind of looking for that highest and best use potential. Plus, that property is small. That's 925 square feet. So I don't think there's too many other properties around there right now that are asking.
One question I think it would have been helpful is to see what's going on with the lot next door.
Yeah, I think they built two on there, or they already have it surveyed or permitted or something. But I did see it pop up on tax rolls that there's a two build on it.
Oh, interesting. Just to answer Lynette's question in the chat, Ryder was talking about sending a letter of intent, not sending a contract. Though he does 60% of the time send it as a contract with him as the agent. Hope that clarifies. And then Uche asks, 1,000 EMD and not 1%. What do you do usually?
Actually, because of right now, I'm sitting on a number of contracts, so I would probably do 500. But 500 or 1,000, again, it's one of those things. You work it with confidence, you're not going to get a lot of pushback. Only one time, and I was kind of upset I had to do this. One time I put $6,000 down after 4 or 5 days. And I was sweating it. And you better believe I got an inspection on that property. And I backed out for very valid reasons.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you move on those. I always say 1,000 or 1%, whichever is lower, is what I'm going to submit and submit confidently. Normally that means 1,000 on all of the contracts. And also, I've seen this play a few times. That's really fun. I'm curious if you've ever used it, where you put 1,000 down and quickly as your EMD, and then the rest is due whatever number makes the seller feel better at the end of inspection. And that allows your end buyer to actually cover that majority of the cost for you.
Yeah. No, I haven't actually done that. Although that would be good, but I mean, maybe I would do 500 now, day one, and an extra 500 at the end. But generally, I always have my end buyer put down. I'm usually at $500 or $1,000. My end buyer is usually at $5,000. So
I like that number spread. Write that down, everybody.
Yeah.
Do we have anything else we can get Ryder on the phone for?
I'm actually looking right now, real quick. So,
I cannot believe that we're almost out of time, y'all.
Yeah, that was quick. I had a lot of fun doing
that. And of course, everybody's dropping their questions now. Dennis, so the percent or number for a reasonable teardown is taking the ARV of new builds and less than 20%. Like the max is 20%. Let's just go through a few of these questions and see how many we can stuff in. If you're an agent, why not take the commission? Can you explain why, since you're also doing the wholesale deal?
Yeah, why not take the commission? If it's like relatively new on the market, that one was listed for like 6 days. And I mean, I offered close to $100,000 where they were listed at. And when I put my number out there, she wasn't like, "Oh my God, get out of here. That's absolutely crazy." She's, I don't know if that's going to work. And so I just kind of put out there and said, "Hey, I know I'm an agent, but I'm not looking for a commission. I'm looking for a deal."
Mm.
And so that's what it is. If it's listed for a lot longer, then I'll shoot to get my commission.
All right. So you're really looking at it as a negotiation card you have to flip over whenever you need.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah, and the listing agent will be savvy enough to tell their seller that, okay, this, we don't have to pay a buyer's commission on this, so that's, $10,000 that we don't have to pay out, so that they can say, okay, we're keeping that 10, and they're asking for a discount. It's not as offensive as if you were asking for all of it.
Yeah, exactly. So do you want to pull up this address real quick? 828 Joseph Avenue. Let's see if this
28 Joseph?
828 Joseph Avenue.
While he's getting that pulled up, I just want to remind everybody that you too can be as cool as Ryder with all of this data in your pocket. And that's with Privy. And so if you don't have this, I highly suggest on your wholesaling journey that you prioritize this software, and you can get 30% off with the last name Damg. We're going to drop it in the chat so you know how to spell it. And that's going to get you 30% off an annual plan or 20% off the first month if you go that route.
All right. I'm going to give this agent a call real quick. Lamonte Floyd. Let's see. I'm going to call off my cell phone this time. Can you hear that ring?
No.
I can't.
No.
Ring on speaker?
Hi, Lamonte. Hey, Lamonte. This is Ryder with Haven Real Estate. How are you? Good. I was giving you a call about your listing over on Joseph Avenue. Yeah. So I'm actually interested in picking up another deal for myself, and I was calling to get some more information about this property. Do you have any photos of the interior? Got it. Okay. What's the condition like? You know?
I mean, it's gonna need a little work, maybe. It's an older house. Modern day home. We still got some old stuff, we're back in,
Love it. Does it have really nice pink shag carpet in there? Oh, okay. Even better. Got it. And is this property still occupied?
Someone's in there right now.
Okay. Is it a tenant or is it the owner? Okay. And do they need like any type of post occupancy at all?
Find out and make sure. Somewhere, but
Okay. And you said get somewhere. Like, do they have to move quickly, or what does that look like? Why are they selling?
I don't have to go quickly. She just wants her husband has passed away, and she's looking to move.
Mm-hmm.
Sit there,
Got it.
just ready to old lady.
All right. All right. Perfect. And as far as price, are they married to that price, or is there any room for negotiation? Got it. Are you able to share kind of ballpark where those offers are at? No worries.
I would just say, if I got something that is
Okay, fair enough.
Try to talk.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is, I actually haven't ran my numbers on this property yet. I was just calling to get some more information. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead, take a look at the comps in the area to see where I would need to be at. At that point, is it okay if I run a verbal offer past you, or do you want something in writing?
We can do a verbal offer because, like I said, if it's something crazy, then like I said, I don't want you to waste your time or my time. If I know it's something, I'll run it by her.
Okay.
See if
All right, cool.
like I said, she's already turned down two.
Yep.
I don't want you to have to waste your time. If my time is out.
Absolutely. Yeah, I understand. Okay, and then last question. Do you have anything else that could be a potential fixer-upper that you have coming up?
Now, I'm working on one right now, but I don't know if you're trying to stay in the Nashville area.
I'm open to anywhere in Middle Tennessee.
Okay. I can put down some right now.
All right. All right, perfect. I will stay in touch about those two in Rutherford. I'm definitely looking to buy out there right now. So I will get back to you about this one on Joseph, and I'll keep in touch about Rutherford. I appreciate it.
All right. What's your name again?
Ryder?
Okay, right.
All right, likewise. Talk to you soon.
All right.
Bye. Okay. You got one conversation. That was decent.
Tell us how it went on her side. Did she actually tell you where the other offers stood?
No. Sometimes you'll get agents to be like, oh yeah, we had offers come in at 450 and she just flat out rejected it. I was like, okay, great. And I'll let them know right there. Like I might be in the same ballpark. So, but he has two more coming up. Nice.
Yeah, and I think that's like such an important, I'm so glad you asked that last question because it's so important because it really is where so many leads come from, is just having that extra, but what's coming next? Because they're thinking quick sales.
Yeah, absolutely. And a lot of times you'll get a fair amount of agents who prefer to keep it off market, especially if the house needs it.
Absolutely. Now, the last thing we want to leave on is to remind everybody that Privy is available and the promo code is in the chat. But most importantly, how can people get in touch with you? How can they work with you? How can they add value to you and your business, Ryder?
Yeah, so I mean, I would love to work with anyone out here in the Middle Tennessee market. I'm not doing too much out in Memphis or Knoxville. I'm much strictly focused in Middle Tennessee. So if you want to reach out via Instagram, that's great. You can reach me at ryder.cotton, or give me a call or shoot me a text. Let me pull up my number. And that is at 615-701-6578. So
that replay is going to be on YouTube if you guys didn't catch it. And then, one more time, y'all. Get your pen.
Yeah, 615-701-6578.
Thank you so much for being here, Ryder. Thank you,
Benson. Good job, Ryder. Smooth operator, bro.
Appreciate it, Benson. Corianne, thanks you for the invite. And it was a pleasure being here with you all. And I hope there were some nuggets for some of you out there.
Thanks, everybody. Have a great rest of your day.